Hello and welcome, my name is Michel, and today's subject comes in from CryoGuard, who asks, what is your favorite Fro Melee to dual wield, and why? Now, Fro Melee have always been a very interesting category of melee weapons, even though I haven't really paid a lot of attention to them in the last couple of months, years. I haven't really been using them, to be honest. But it's very interesting in the way that they are made in these abilities that they have, but they are completely and utterly ignored by the Warframe community. Now, this question is about the Fro Melee to dual wield, which is something that has been implemented this year, which is rather interesting. But let's first get into what the Fro Melee situation is about. Why don't we use them? Why is it such a vague, weird category that only a select few people use? That being said, if you are using Fro Melee as your daily driver, it's not a bad thing. In fact, more power to you if you use Fro Melee. It's just that I don't use them a lot. But if you do use them, let me know. Tell me in the comments why you use Fro Melee, what you think makes them better or more fun, and why I should choose it above my Dragon Icona. Anyway, let's get back to Fro Melee. Now, Fro Melee have always been this aesthetically pleasing looking melee weapon type. When you looked at the Glaive or when you looked at the Glaive Prime, it was always a nice sight to see. And the idea of the features that it had, throwing it, hitting enemies at a wide range, making it come back, catching it, the idea sounded very, very cool. But then you got into the game, and it really, really sucked. Now why? Well, if you wanted to use it, you had to go to your melee weapon, which was a long press of the F button, which made you switch to your melee only. Then you had to use a long press of your E button, and then you threw the disc out. So it kind of came to the point where you'd spend a couple of seconds throwing the actual attack, and then hoping that the enemy was still there. You could hit it, or you could stand there being completely helpless, because you didn't have any weapon at all, but in the same time, your teammate would probably have pressed 4, and their world on fire would have obliterated all the targets around you. It was a nice idea, but it was pretty pointless. So the only people that used it were Dark Sector fanboys, people that wanted to dress up in their Hayden Tenno Excalibur skin and walk around with the Glaive because, you know, this, my friend, shows that I'm a man of culture. This shows that I know where Warframe has come from. This shows that I don't know, I compensate for something? But then this year we saw the new change which showed the dual wield situation, which allowed you to use your Fro Melee in one hand and in your other hand your secondary. Now this is a great combination, especially if you have something like your Fro Prime, which could very well stand alone and kill an entire sortie. So if you use that, like, you can use your Fro Melee as a side thing. You can use it, you can have fun with it, you can throw it around, right? Well, this was something that I was really hyped up about when it came to me in the dev stream. I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I need to have that. Then going back to my I Dread Hype Culture video, I instantly forgot about it when it was put into the game. Actually, someone had to remind me that it was in the game, and then I took a look at it. Now, the idea of the change has made the situation a bit better when it comes to throwing melee. But this is the problem with throwing melee. The Fro Melee type has one big issue. To throw the melee, you need to charge it up. Which means that I have to stand still, look at an enemy, press E, and then throw it, and then hope that it hits something. At the same time, I could have used my ability number 4. Ash fanboys will know what I mean. And of course, I can use my guns, which would have had a much quicker effect. So it really comes down to whether you just like to use it and whether you just like to see something fly through the air, but it's not that effective. Also, I find myself using the throwing thing not a lot. Like, you run around and you can quickly, like, slice through an enemy, no problem, or you just shoot them. What's the point in taking the time to stand still and then throw the thing if you can also just shoot it or run past it and slice it? So when it comes down to running past it and slicing it, there are so many more melee weapons that are much more powerful than Fro Melee, and the thing that you hold in your hand doesn't really make a change when it comes down to just a quick melee slice. It's the exact same of when you would just have your secondary in your hand and then you have to slice. Like, it doesn't make a change. It doesn't really add anything. It doesn't really add anything to the experience or to the extra benefits of the Fro Melee. The only thing that it does is that when you throw your melee, you have a second where you do have a gun to shoot. Though many times I found that during that time I miraculously had to reload. Now, coming back to what my favorite Fro Melee is, because even though this has been rather negative, I do like my Fro Melees. I do like the way they look. I do like walking around with them, especially the dual wield mode made me look. It looks nice, like it gives you a sort of nice vibe running around with it. It looks great, it feels great, and especially with my Yvona Prime and my Glaive Prime. Oh my god, I love it. So yeah, there you have it. My favorite Fro Melee will probably be the Glaive Prime just because it looks nice. Just because the way it feels, the way it looks at it, the way I walk around with it, the way it looks as I throw it. It's not as much about taking it into the sorties or taking it into the end game content, which I don't really know what that it's supposed to be. But it is just nice to see. And generally, when you compare it to the rest of the Fro Melee pool, the differences between them are so minor. Just a few stats, a few bonuses, a few changes in elemental types that I think that, for me, it comes down to the way it looks and the way it makes me feel. And that's really why I would choose the Glaive Prime. But what is your favorite Fro Melee? Are you a Fro Melee user and do you think that I got it wrong? Or I got it right? You know I'm always right. Anyway, let me know what you think about Fro Melee and which Fro Melee do you like? What is your favorite Fro Melee? Have you ever thought about it? Well, if you haven't, now's a good time to think. See you next time.